Welcome to Flight Club, a podcast where we want to dive into specific aspects of flight levels, share experiences, and introduce you to the flight levels experts on a more personal level.
Hello and welcome to Flight Club by Flight Levels Academy, where you get to know people and topics around flight levels. My name is Klaus Leopold, and my guest today is Josep Riudavets. We want to chat a little bit about how to create a map of an organization. And this sounds very exciting. Cool. Hi, Josep. Thanks for joining me today.
Hey, Klaus. How are you? Thanks a lot for inviting me to your show.
Sure. So, before we start with the topic, how to create a map of your organization, I'm already very much looking forward to this topic. But before we start, let's talk a little bit about you. So, I'm really happy that you're on the show today. And when you take a look at what you do for a living, actually, how would you describe this?
Well, Klaus, have you ever been in a tunnel of terror of an amusement park?
Yes.
Well, when I was a kid, we used to go and it's one of these things that you know when you are getting in, but you don't know when are you getting out or in which condition and what will happen in the middle. So during these 20 years of professional activity, I have been dealing with tunnels of terror in companies. I've been very focused on companies in technology and tourism. And what I have suffered is this sensation of every time you start a new project or a new initiative or a new feature for improving your product or whatever, a new idea, it's like the tunnel of terror. You know when you are starting, but you don't know what will happen in the middle, but not good for sure, not good. So at the end, the only thing you know is it will take a much more time than expected and much more money, and the result we don't know if it will be the one that the clients are expecting. So I got very obsessed with that. I studied telecommunications. I used to be a software developer, project manager. I led a huge team of people from a CTO role, and every time was the same. I got very obsessed in helping organizations in making that tunnel of terror more soft. So since 2017, I'm working as a business agility consultant. I recently created a new company, which is OneMap. And what we are doing is helping companies to come out with a new way to organize all the work. That's it.
That sounds cool, actually. Yeah. Yes, OneMap. You just founded a new company, which is, I think, exciting times, right?
Yes.
I can imagine. Okay. And you are also a Flight Levels coach and a Flight Levels guide with Flight Levels Academy. So how did you actually discover flight levels?
So that's a very good question. I used to use a metaphor for understanding how a company works. So to me, a company is like the subway network of a city. You have a lot of interconnected teams that exchange work to provide a service or a product instead of trains and instead of stations. But there's a huge difference between the subway network and a company. A subway network is something very synchronized. When we think of this kind of network, we think in words like fluidity, speed, punctuality, synchronizations, clarity, effectiveness. But when we think of companies, we see a lot of traffic jams, slowness, lack of coordination. In short, we see confusion and chaos. And when I started to study how to become a metro network, I started to study these agile approaches, so Scrum and Kanban and OKRs, a lot of fantastic frameworks that really helps teams. But there was like a feeling that they were not providing all the value to the whole company. So I needed something that connect all the points, all the important points. And I was really, really interested in that, because the way we improve organizations is from a holistic perspective. I needed that. And I remember some years ago, we started to read books and go to conferences. And a very friend of mine is Pablo Domingo. And there's a crazy guy in Vienna who's talking about how to connect things. And this Klaus Leopold, well, let's investigate a little bit more. And in just 5 minutes of reading one of your sentences that you write on your book, that's it. So that's the container we were missing.
Okay, so it's thank you. That sounds good when you say something like this. Yeah. It was like more this holistic view, if I understand this correctly. What brought you to Flight Levels? Yeah, and you attended the Flight Levels coach program, and yeah, now you are Flight Levels guide. This is really cool to have you on board. I mean, I really like what you just said before, like the quote, any company behaves like a subway network in a large city. That's really cool. But can you elaborate a little bit more on this? So what does this actually mean? And are there problems that pop up?
Yes. Well, the way we understand companies is like a diagram of teams. So we have always thought that the main pillar of the company is a team or a department or a division. So this is the way we organize everything. We have put so much focus on improving the team itself that we have forgotten one thing. More than 90% of the work that circulates inside the company needs the participation of more than one team. And we don't have any regulation for that. We don't have any protocols. We just rely on informal conversation or the 2,000 of meetings that we have every week. And this is not a good strategy. I cannot imagine New York or London without a place in the city where you can see everything, not only each station, but the trains going from one station to the other in a correct way without incidents, providing value. So this is why I see a lot of similarities between this network and a company.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and what do you think actually? What kind of problems does this cause if we don't? I mean, as you said, so we see multiple things. We see, as you said, the teams, and we're also very focused on the org chart, right? Because when it comes to like changing something, we're moving around boxes in the org chart, and then everything will be fine, kind of, right? So, what kind of problem does this cause? I mean, what is your experience? Because you're actually just to mention this, you're actually a man out of practice, so you have quite a lot of experience in telecommunication, in tourist, and so on. So what do you see there? What kind of problems are these companies facing?
So the first thing I would like to see outwards to the market. So in successful companies, what is happening is there are so many opportunities around today that is barely impossible to say no. We are not trained to say no, not now. So new clients, new products, new improvements, new problems. You have a lot of opportunities. So what's the consequence of that? The network is completely clogged. Completely clogged. We have a huge amount of work. If we work in teams, if the teams is the main pillar of the organization, we will have more and more and more because we have a traffic jam there. So consequences, time to market is terrible. Conflicts between teams with different priorities, objectives in completely opposite directions. The costs, we need to set up a structure to manage all the work in the form of new managers, new tools, everything. This is a lot of costs. So the consequences are terrible. I normally say the successful companies are today at risk because they are growing, they are putting more teams, the complexity is higher, so more risk. So to me, this is one of the main problems. And then if we look inwards, so that's the problem. The organizational pattern is the team, the department. So look at the word departments. It's like two walls falling here.
Apart from the rest.
We need a completely different view. We need to break this traditional view and find something new.
Yeah, and I like that you're emphasizing this so much about the team, because I mean, if we take a look at these agile practices that we can apply on a team level, they are great. I mean, for instance, Scrum. So one thing in Scrum is that you are creating focus, right? Because you have these sprints, and usually when you create focus, you get rid of this congestion of this being clocked, right? Or when you do Kanban, we're talking about WIP limits, working process limits, right? So the problem is, or at least the problem that I always see, yes, the teams, they are limiting their WIP, but then the backlog is unlimited. And the thing, what you just said is that we need multiple teams in order to work on this. So the teams, they have actually their limited, or they have their focus, but all the backlogs are full. So if you take a look at the organization is still working without focus. And I think that's one of the, at least in my point of view, one of the main root causes that you just mentioned, why there is, even with agile teams, not much of a, I don't know, improvement that we can see. I mean, like from your experience, can you, is this similar? Do you experience something similar, or do we experience different things, other things, additional things?
No, that's the point. So I think most of the teams are aware of that, and they have tools for sequencing the work and to create focus. But the reality is that when you zoom out and you go to the strategic level, you see that new projects, new objectives, new strategic lines, new opportunities, new clients. So for only one new project that you put into an organization, you have like a boom, thousands of tasks to the team.
Yeah.
So you can limit a lot the focus on team level, but if you don't do it on the upper side, it will not work at all.
Yeah. Okay. So we have some like a common understanding, I think, about the problem, but what kind of solutions do we have?
So first, I would like to talk about what I would never do to solve that problem. So I have experienced a lot of transformations that start from the organizational chart. They start by rebuilding the team structure. So that is a failure for sure, because you will change a lot of authorities, functionalities, but the problem will still be there.
Yeah.
The org chart only sees the 5% of the organizational complexity. It doesn't tell you how to manage the work between teams. There are a lot of things that we are missing out. So if you are listening to me, please don't start the transformation using the org chart as the main tool. Don't do that. The second thing we have already mentioned, all these new frameworks to manage the work are awesome. Scrum, OKRs, Worldly Maps, Canvas, design thinking, DevOps. We have a lot of frameworks that work well, but they cannot be isolated because they only improve a very specific region of your company. So having said that, how we can solve the problem? Well, when I was a kid, my father didn't tell me stories. We used to watch atlases. My father has a degree in geography. So in my family, we love maps, and we used to play to to come out with how many countries we have with the O, or how many capitals do you know, and this kind of games. So I really love maps, because a map is a way to include a lot of information, but in a very easy and understandable way, even for a 5-year-old kid. So I'm trying to use this concept to map how a company works. So to me, the real solution is to create a Google Earth, a map where you can see all the work in your company, from the tactical level, from the operational level, coordination, and from the strategic level. So this for me is the key challenge that we have now. Not Google Maps, which is the org chart, just one dimension, which is authority or function. It's Google Earth. We can see things from different perspectives. And the other thing that I love from maps is that things that usually are isolated, you see how they are connected.
They're connected, yeah.
And I think this is one of the main problems we have today in the world: isolation. Countries fighting each other and all these things. So if you create a map where you see everything connected, that would be a great tool.
That sounds like a cool thing to do, but how do you create a map of your organization where you see everything?
So to me, flight levels is the perfect tool to create a very easy map with only 3 levels, where you can connect not only teams, but everything that is important for the company: objectives, strategy, projects, products, services, platforms, clients, services, whatever, just in one map in 3 levels. So to me, this is the simplicity of flight levels is awesome. How you can convert something super complex, which is an organization of 1,000, 2,000 of people, in just a single map that you can write in one piece of paper and explain to anybody in just 5 minutes. This is the key.
That's perfect. So I think you're talking about the work systems topology. That's the tool that in flight levels we are using, right? So a work systems topology describes what kind of work systems are there. So these could be like the cities or the countries in your map. And then you say how they are connected. Like, for instance, our flight level 3, which is kind of the strategic level, is connected to a couple of flight level 2 systems. They are connected to other flight level 2 systems, to flight level 1 systems, and this is how you get this map, right?
Yeah,
so I really love the picture of a map. And honestly, I'm a little bit I would love to use it all the time. There's one thing which holds me a little bit back, although it's so easy to explain, actually. Usually on a map, positional awareness, I guess is the right word to say, matters. So you live in Mallorca, right? In Spain.
Yeah.
Nice. And there's another island, which is Ibiza. Yeah. So if you exchange Ibiza and Mallorca, your map is no longer correct, right? Because it's showing something. So positional awareness matters, right? And the thing is, on a work systems topology, we could just swap 2 flight level 2 systems on their position. It doesn't matter where they are, right? So it's technically not a map, but when it comes to explaining things, and I love to explain things actually on an easy way, I love the picture of a map, because it really is a map if you take a look at it. And you can even bring the analogy with like you have roads and stuff like this. So yeah, maybe I need to be more brave because I really love this picture.
So I think this idea of map, flight levels is a very special map. It's not the map we see in the atlases. It's a very special map. For example, one thing, it's not static. So it's evolving during the time. it has to be adapted to the strategic momentum that is the company in. So this is it has to be very easy to say, okay, these two products now, one depends on the other. How can we talk and manage this dependency? So this map is a creator of conversations on how to coordinate things. And it has to be very easy to change the pieces.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the most important things. Actually, you're just mentioning, at least from my point of view. As you said, it's dynamic and it needs to be changed. And I think that's one of the most important messages when it comes to drawing this work systems topology or this map that we need to get across when people are using it. I at least this is my experience. Sometimes people are like, okay, now we are building this work systems topology, and this will stick for the next 200 years or something like this. So it's like, okay, now we do it right, because now we do it with flight levels, and now we do it right. Yeah, that's actually not the point. So everything is changing, right? So our organization is changing. Imagine we are becoming better. Let's assume our organization is really becoming better. Our performance or whatever we desire improved. Hopefully, our map will change because it doesn't make sense actually. And getting this across is actually really difficult. So what are your experiences? How can you make people realize that this is not a static thing, as you just said?
So totally agree. To me, the organizational design has to be a key activity within a company at the same level than sales, technology development, or finance. So it has to be an activity where a group of people is constantly looking at how we are organized and adapting the things. So to me, the first thing, we need some sort of internal coalition, let's say, that they are like the people who are controlling the network of the metro in a city. I'm constantly looking at it, finding things that are not working or where we have room for improvement, and propose new things. So and for me, it's very important that the top management of a company understands that it's not a reorganization from A to B. It's like a journey.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So we have a problem, and we somehow understood the root cause of the problem. Now we have a solution. Yeah. So what if we apply this solution to a company? So what is actually the result? What can we see?
Yeah. Well, I have been doing it for several years in companies from very different sectors: technology, banking, education, third sector, and the results are awesome. So first, there's like a feeling of clarity. So on a daily basis, from the CEO to the end of one team, whatever team it is, they are like flooded with work. They don't have somewhere to look when they got lost. So what do you do, Klaus, when you get lost, when you are going somewhere? So you look at the map. You stop, think, make a new friend or whatever. But at after the beer, you will probably look at the map. So
hopefully,
if you have a map, it provides you with calm. You are more quiet. You get out of all your stress. This is amazing. This is the first result I see in the minute one when you put flight levels on a wall, an architecture. And from there, a lot of focus. So you can start to see the traffic jam and say, okay, so let's start removing things or prioritizing or whatever. Let's talk about what's important for us. And then a lot of collaboration. So teams that normally compete against each other, they start to see that they are contributing to something else. This something else is a project, a product, a service, a platform, wherever. This is the famous flight level 2. For me, the flight level 2 is the point where different teams contribute and go in the same directions.
Yeah.
So consequences of that, for me, the improvement of results of the company. Company will start to deliver sooner with more quality, with better results, and with a context of people more motivated and with a clear sense of belonging to the company. My work is helping to do something for the company. This is the main results I have observed.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So it's you're somehow getting out of this also tunnel kind of thing. You see the bigger picture and everything, and you see how the dots actually are connected, or like everything is connected in the organization. Yeah, cool. So if someone wants to learn more about this topic, so I mean, we were talking about flight levels in general. Yes, perfect. But where in flight levels land? Like what kind of things should people do if they want to learn more about this building a map of the organization?
Okay, so I think there are different approaches there. First, I would say let's start to see this systems thinking approach. So what I used to do is, okay, we are a company is not a map of teams, it's a map of systems. It's different.
Yeah.
So when we talk about a team, we think of a group of people with more or less the same studies. And then they share a room and they have the same boss. Okay, that's a team. But the system is much more is a meeting plan. It's how you coordinate with other teams. It's a set of metrics. So the entry point to flight levels is this first change. We are not the main role is not the team. It's a system. And from there, I would jump to how to create this map of systems of the company and how the teams are contributed to them. This is the work system topology. From here, I would go to the strategy level. This strategy level normally is very reduced to a very few people in the company. We have to open it. We have to make everyone on board in the strategy. So I would start with a flight level introduction course where we talk about these systems thinking. I would go next to the flight level system architecture, which are talking about the map. And I will end up in the flight level 3 design workshop, which is how we can connect everything to strategy. This would be a good path for a person who want to start with this concept.
That sounds like a good plan, and I think you are also offering some of these kind of things, right?
Yes.
Are there some concrete plans that you're having?
We are preparing exhaustively now the first FLSA course in Spanish.
Yeah.
It will start by the end of May, and during 5 weeks, 2-3 hours per week, we will provide the attendees with a set of principles and tools that will definitely help them to manage the team or the division or the whole company. And we are now preparing everything. I think it will be super cool. It will be very practical because we want to help the people in their real situation. We will talk about the specific situation of everyone. And we are preparing something very, very amazing. And this is how we can implement all this map in a technology platform like Jira or Trello or something. This is like a gap that we are seeing today. I'm currently helping a very big company in doing this. And it's very easy to start with this Trello or Jira board creation, and you will end up in an epidemic of boards. So we have a very specific methodology to create this Google Earth within Jira or Trello or the tool that the company has at that moment.
That sounds cool. Just like for clarification, you said 5 weeks, right? I imagine it's not 5 weeks every day, 9 to 5. So how how does this the structure
Yeah.
actually look like?
Mhm. Yes, it's in fact it's five lessons, so
Mm,
five classes. The first week we will start with an introduction. So it's a very basic introduction so that we all have the same language. We put
yeah.
everyone at the same level. We will talk about agile principles, why this team view is not so effective, and how can we move to a systems thing. We will be playing a little bit. We will share Trello and Jira boards to see how things are implemented. And it will take maybe 2 or 2.5 hours online. And the next day, the first week, the next day, we will start with flight levels. We will talk about how to create a map, this work system topology. And the next week, during the next 2 or 3 hours, we will talk about the routes, how we can connect things, why a flight route is so crucial for the success of a company. In class number 4, we will address one of the main pains that people have today, which is meetings.
Yes. Everybody's
So,
excited.
yeah, flight levels for me is the perfect tool to make your plan meeting successfully.
Yeah.
And we have demonstrated that a company with 2 or 3 products and 6 or 7 teams can be managed with no more than 10 meetings. No more than 10 meetings. You don't need more. And with flight levels, it's very easy to see and to plan. And the last class, which is the 4th week, we will spend 2-3 hours again playing with Jira, with Trello, and with any tool that any person bring to the course to see how this amazing concept, which is now in paper, how we can translate it in something operational that can help
Perfect.
the companies on their daily basis. This is more or less the journey.
That sounds cool. So it's really very practical. So you really like hands-on doing things. Yeah, I mean that's one thing to have it on paper. The other thing is to make it real, right?
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a difference. Nice. Cool, Josep. Yeah, we will link the details of this course into the show notes, and of course, we will also link your details. So, yeah, if someone is interested in joining, or if they have some questions or so, I'm pretty sure you're open to receive these questions. So we will link your your contact information and everything. So, yeah,
For sure.
if someone wants to get in touch with Josep and know a little bit more about his plans and how he is creating a map, don't hesitate to approach him. Cool. Josep, thank you
Well,
for your time, and thank you for explaining how you are creating a map of your organization. I'm really very much looking forward to your plans. I mean, the 5-week program is really nice, and the tangible result, you're throwing tools in it, so it's very, very practical. So I'm really looking forward to when this will take place.
thanks,
So
Klaus.
great,
And I
great
have to
things.
say that when the course ends, it starts the journey.
Yeah.
So all the people joining the course will be part of a community, which is the Flight Levels Academy. And there's plenty of professionals and people who have been dealing with these kind of issues on how to organize and connect things within a company. And for sure, people will help them. So it's
Yes.
just the initial point, the course.
Yeah. So the course is kind of the takeoff. So we are building,
Yeah.
like Markus Brandl is always saying, that it's kind of a runway we are building, and you're like, doing the takeoff in one of these courses, but still, it's the takeoff. So you still need to fly, right?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
true.
Yeah, and for sure, Flight Levels Academy and Josep, we will help you fly. That's the idea.
Thanks a lot,
Cool.
Klaus, for inviting me.
Thanks for taking the time and talking with me about your plans and about how to create the map of your organization. It was a great conversation for me. And yeah, that's it for today.
Thank you, Klaus. Thanks
Josep.
to all the people.
And goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to the Flight Levels podcast. Subscribe now to be updated for the next episode. Did this podcast remind you of anybody? Share the link with that person that you think should also join the Flight Club. And join our free community to have access to a lot of free content as well as direct contact with all the coaches and members. Visit our web to create your account and more information. Go to flightlevels.io.